normally you and I are pretty used to doing these types of chats at nationals, with the medal around your neck, holding the trophy. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it there this year, but had to chat with you after your second national championship as a coach, fourth as a player, or fourth altogether, as I just said. But first and foremost, how are you feeling now? It's been about a week that you've been a national champion for the fourth time. How are you feeling? Has it settled in? Take us through some of the emotions that you've been feeling since then.
Yeah, great question. Honestly, you kind of feel a little bit of everything. Obviously in the moment right after you win, like there's a ton of joy and a ton of excitement. But then even kind of as that night starts to go on and you start to reflect a little bit, in some ways you start to feel a little bit of sadness, mostly because of just like the senior group and the fact that, knowing that our graduating guys will no longer be with us. So that's always something that's kind of unique to kind of navigate, is knowing that some of our key guys, especially that we had this year, like, four of our starters, like, Corey, Jackson, Ansem, Tate, Liam, like, those guys, they won't be back. So I think navigating that's a little bit hard. But I think the biggest thing is just like, we're just so excited for our guys. Those guys work so hard, and, I'm just super proud of them and happy for them to have the results that they got. But yeah, honestly, man, you feel everything over the course of, I guess, celebrating a championship. So um, definitely excited for our guys though.
It was a little bit of a different year this year. No Alberta for the first time in forever. I mean, that is one of the most classic rivalries in uSports or CIS men's volleyball. Alberta and Trinity. I don't know how many times you guys have met in the final, but it's been quite a bit. This is Trinity's eighth championship in the past 20 years. Your first championship was 20 years ago in 2006. 10 years ago, you yourself won your first one, and now 10 years later in 2026, you win another one. Take us through the tournament a little bit. First and foremost, I think we have to address the biggest
Yeah,
win, maybe. You got over the Western
yeah.
hump, you got over the Western curse,
hmm
and you're finally able to take down the Western Mustangs, which you previously had been 0-2 against.
Yeah, no, exactly. One, Sean McKay, who obviously was the setter for Western, and is now the head coach of Saskatchewan. He's become a good friend over the years. He can
Beauty.
be a little less quiet about it now. I think the fact that he still beat us twice, though, while he was the setter, I know he's still going to give me a hard time, but at least our program is 1-2 now. That was the big one, honestly. The moment we won Canada West, like right after the game, I'm sitting there with Ben Ball and Joel Jansen, TSR staff. Like, we're going to be the one seed, and we're going to play Western in the quarter. Like, we just knew that was that's how it was going to shake up. And we were immediately like straight up nervous. We just won Canada West, and we're like, man, we got to play Western. Thankfully, like that's been a long time now, since like the last time we lost Western was when I was a freshman in
Yeah,
my
12
first
years.
year. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's been a while. So a lot of our players actually weren't too aware of it, which is good because they weren't, I guess they were nervous for the fact that we're playing at nationals in the quarterfinal, but there was no added pressure of the fact that we got to beat Western. The coaches felt it for sure. So it was funny in the post game comments, just like for our press release on our website. I acknowledged that we got the monkey off our back. And I had a couple former teammates that I played with that we had lost to Western with. They reached out to me thanking me that I acknowledged that we finally beat Western. So yeah, that was big to get that quarterfinal in, and it was huge that our guys played great in that game. To get that one done in three is huge. So anytime you can play the quarterfinal and somehow win that game in three, that's massive because the tournament is long, it's grueling, 3 games in a row, pretty hard on our bodies. To have a clean, quick one in the first game is huge. And then we were excited. We didn't know much about Montreal and Windsor. We knew we'd be playing the winner of them, but then when we saw that Windsor won, we were super excited to play the host. That's something I feel like almost every year we're at nationals, we seem to play the host.
I feel like Trinity Western thrives playing the host. I don't think
Yeah,
I've ever seen you guys lose to a host in person either. Like I think you guys are pretty good
yeah.
against
You
host
would have
teams at
saw
nationals.
2024 Queens. That's the last time we've lost to a host.
True. Yeah. I that's true. I
Yeah.
remember that.
And then, but yeah, so we are excited to play the host. Like Windsor won, they did an amazing job running the tournament too. Their fans really showed up. Our guys after that game were just telling stories about how their fans were giving us a hard time throughout the match, and even Ben Ball's got a good story about some of the fans even getting on our staff a little bit. Playing the host was great, such an amazing atmosphere. And then that Windsor team, man, they didn't go away. Like we were playing great the first 2 sets, and in that third set, even when we had a bit of an advantage, man,
You
they
guys were up
they
like
came back.
22-20 in the third there. Like it looked like you guys
Yeah,
were going to be able to close it out in three.
Yeah, that's what we kind of were thinking too. And then that Windsor team just didn't go away, and then we went back and forth in the fourth. So the again playing the home team is amazing, and Windsor really showed out, which is cool. And that's a veteran team. Like we knew that that Windsor team was full of seniors, and we knew that they weren't going down without a fight. So that really made that third and fourth set super interesting. We were just happy we were able to close that one in four because playing the fifth set against the home team would have been a nightmare, honestly. And then yeah, then we had the final.
Now, heading into the final, obviously, like UBC and Trinity Western, I feel like it's not quite at the level of rivalry, an immediate rivalry like you guys have with Alberta, but anyone in that, Vancouver Lower Mainland area knows that once the alumni go on, there is a massive rivalry between the Spartans and the UBC guys, whether it's on Kits Beach, whether it's in the Vancouver Super League. It's a very friendly rivalry. Don't get me wrong. But there's a little bit of back and forth between UBC and Trinity Western. And now you guys were 1-1 against the Thunderbirds in the regular season this year. You split a couple of five setters. So what's the thought process as you're heading into a final against a team that you guys know so well? I'm sure you guys played each other in exhibition games a number of times in the preseason and in over the Christmas break and stuff like that. So as you're heading into that final, how much preparation goes into that? And, are you guys kind of hearing it from some of the alumni back home? Because we can't lose to these guys because if not, we're going to hear it for a long time.
Mhm. Yeah, no, for sure. I think the cool part about, I guess, when you play a Canada West team at nationals is you know them a little bit better. I think that's probably the hard part about Westerns. We didn't have much information on them, so you kind of go into that game a little bit blind. And then same thing for Windsor. Like we only had a few matches, so we're kind of game planning pretty late in the night, and then kind of learning about who they are as a team on the fly. The nice part about playing UBC is we know them really well. The hard part is we know how good they are. We know what they're going to do. The question is, are we good enough to stop it? Is kind of the challenge. So that yeah, that was hard in that sense. And then I think in these championship games, we gotta, there's been a lot of rivalries and there's been a lot of, key matchups over the year. I think the big thing we tried to talk about is not making those things bigger than what it is. Like we know that beating UBC is hard enough, right? To attach some sort of regional rivalry to it and create this extra narrative and add extra noise to it. Like I don't think that would really help us. So I think the biggest thing we try to help our guys get confidence in is just understanding that they know them very well, right? We know their spikers. We know what their team is like. We know what Greaves does. We know that they're awesome, but they're going to be a challenge is whether or not we can actually do it. So trying to build some confidence in them and understand that we know these guys really well, and then just get them in a good mindset to try and play. But it definitely makes it harder. Like after the fact when there's these games that you play really good teams and there's rivalries. Like it creates cool stories after the fact, but going into the game, it makes your preparation pretty hard. So we just try to lock our guys in and just be really good at honestly playing the next point.
Fair enough. And I mean, it was an up and down game. It was back and forth. You guys looked fantastic at some times. Like the sets you guys won, you guys were great. The sets you guys lost, it was pretty bad. So how were you able to manage that, wave of emotion, point in and point out? Because, you guys win the first 25-22, get crushed in the second 25-15, win the third. And I mean, you guys missed, I don't know how many serves in the third. Your
13.
offense was 13 serves in the third. Yikes. So your offense was clicking, hitting a 529 efficiency, 15 missed serves. You go up to 2-1, 24 or 26-24, and then it's 25-11. 25-11 in the fourth. Now, do you think that, there's two sides of it? A, you guys get crushed. You don't have any of the momentum. UBC is absolutely rolling, but you do get to rest some of your key guys. You took off Caden, you took off a few of the other guys. Do you think that was maybe to your benefit that, that the fourth set went so well for UBC that you're able to rest some of those guys and get ready for the fifth set?
Yeah, that's a good question. In some ways, looking back at it, maybe because there wasn't like that. With the sets we lost them immediately. Like all of a sudden, we feel like you're in a game, and then all of a sudden we're down like 13-3 or something, and you're just, oh, Everett's over. Like, okay. And then we were just ready to move on to the next set. There wasn't really that feeling of having a big emotional loss where you feel like you're in it and you lost your opportunity. So in some sense, maybe yes. I think the how we were able to navigate that game pretty well was interesting because one of the themes we kind of had this year was, and this might sound bizarre, is just play to win. And obviously you might think, oh, that's weird, like obviously play to win. But sometimes, in sport and sometimes examples to our team, we were getting so distracted with stuff that wasn't actually helping us win the next point, right? And case in point to playing Western. Okay, we're trying to, get this monkey off our back because we lost to them 12 years ago. Well, that's not going to help you win the next point, right? If you're thinking about you gotta, crush this narrative that we can't beat Western in the quarterfinal, well then we're not going to be in a good headspace to win the next point, right? And I think that's actually what helped us in this game as well. Is man, we could be rattled that we just got murdered in the fourth set of the national final in a set that we had an opportunity to win the championship, but our guys just got so locked in on just being dialed on the next point and understanding that we may not win it, we might be playing horrible, they might be playing great, that doesn't matter, right? Just be in a good spot where you can be locked in for your job to win the next point. And I do actually think that really helped us because our guys got to a point where we were never rattled, right? UBC's awesome, right? Greaves, Gingera, Pratt, those guys, so good. They're going to make amazing plays. Well, no problem. We move on and then we play the next point, right? We're going to have a section where we can't serve, right? We missed 13 serves. Well, no problem. We can play to win the next point. And that's kind of how we navigated the rough serving. The reality is the national final happened to be our worst serving match of our season. That's tough. You don't want that, right? The nice part is we're actually great in first ball and great in transition, and that's kind of how we navigated the game. We're in timeouts, and it's like, hey guys, believe it or not, you're actually playing great. Like we're winning first ball and we're winning transition. We just can't serve. And then Caden Schmidt's like, we can't serve yet. I'm like, yes, that's right. We can't serve yet. Like if we just serve a couple more, right? We don't have to all of a sudden serve 100% in the rest of the game. You all just got to serve one serve better. If we do that, then our team will be much better. And then that's kind of what happened late in the game. We were able to serve in, get them off the net a little bit, and got our transition going. So I think that play to win mindset was kind of huge for us. And I know that probably seems weird, but it locked us in to not get distracted with stuff that doesn't matter. If you could block in for the next point, then we could be hard to play against. And I think we were, even after sections where we played pretty rough over, the second and fourth set.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the box score on this, some might be like, hey, it looks like Trinity just barely got away from UBC on this one. But when you guys were playing well, it was well. And I mean, that momentum that you guys brought into the fifth set was very infectious. You brought up Caden there and his attitude mentality. How do I put this? He plays in a almost very unlike a very unlike Trinity way, where a lot of the times, your guys, like if I think into the big players in the history of Trinity Western, the Rudys and the Marshalls and the Lepkes and the Nick Del Biancos and, Shearhorns and Sklaters, they're all pretty like reserved, calm, cool guys. They're all guys who would make big plays, come down, turn in, like big cheer to your guys, but they're not really showmen. Whereas Caden is the exact opposite. I mean, it seemed like he was a bit of a crowd favorite over there in Windsor, and he's running around and he's making faces and he's chest bumping with the boys on the bench. How do you try to, like wrap up that energy a lot, or do you just kind of let him flow?
Yeah, I think at this point we've just let Caden be Caden. I mean, anyone who knows Caden just understands like what an amazing personality is, right? And what a great teammate he is, just how much like passion and joy he plays with. And anyone who watches Caden play loves Caden. And I think Caden has such an amazing job of just giving his gift to the program. Like Caden's one of the most unique personalities I've ever met, and coaching him has just been such a joy. So we want to let Caden be Caden because he really ups like the vibes and the feel and the atmosphere on our team. So I think it would be not fair to Caden to try and restrict him a little bit. I think there are times for sure, like me as his coach, I'm just like, oh, Caden, maybe can we focus a little bit more? Like, but it's like, but he's admitted that when he knows he's like in that mode and he's feeling it, that he just doesn't look at me because he knows I'm going to tell him to like focus a bit more. So it's like, I don't know, Caden's great. Like anyone that watches Caden play just loves him, right? And we just want our guys to be able to be themselves, and in some ways, respect the tradition and how we operate our program, but also give their gift to the program. And that's what Caden's done such an amazing job of it. We're it's no surprise that he's become a fan favorite because, yeah, he's just plays with a ton of joy and passion that everyone loves.
I mean, you can feel the passion he plays with every time he hits the ball, because I don't think he knows what a roll shot is, which is ironic because he spent some time on the beach as well.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, his velocity is crazy. I mean, he broke our record this year with serving 127 kilometers. And then before that, he broke the record when he served 124. So like, man, he's put a ton of work. One in the weight room getting stronger, but two just on his arm swing mechanics, especially with our coach Nick Del Bianco, to be really efficient. So he's a beast, and he's 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 fun to watch in that sense because of I guess the physicality he plays with.